Shalom, shalom, Brother Aaron, Royal Regime of Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'm going to say, call Halor Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Rakakadash. All praises to the Heavenly Father, in the name of His only begotten Son, through the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the elders and leaders of the nation of Yasha'Allah who push and teach this truth and sincerity. Also, I want to say shalom to the 1/3, the men, women, and children who believe wholeheartedly on the scriptures. I want to say shalom to you. Okay, I titled this lesson, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Okay, now, what are we starting to hear in the news right now? Okay, more talks of UFOs, UPL, or whatever the new term, UAPs. Okay, all these new terms that they're giving them, basically different unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomenons. Okay. Now, the scripture refers to this. Okay, we know, according to scripture, these are the chariots of the Lord, the vehicles of the Lord. Okay, I did a lesson about 2-3 years back on this. Okay, and basically now we're starting to actually see this. Okay, they have more complaints day and night. Okay, people complaining, saying they're seeing these unidentified flying objects. They're everywhere now. Okay, to the point to where they can no longer be hid. Okay, now we know Esau, okay, through his media has lied, tried to control the narrative, shape people's mind. Okay, their narrative or their story or what they want the people to believe or what these are just unknown objects, whether it be something from another country, Russia, China, or some type of just drones, man-made, created type stuff. Okay, but no, these are the angels, the vehicles of the Lord, the angelic host in the heavens. This is how they're travel. Okay, so the angels in heaven would be our brothers and sisters, our angelic brothers and sisters. They already have those spiritual bodies, that spiritual transformation. Okay, we are the earthly hosts. Okay, basically angels trapped in this flesh. Okay, so we're waiting for that change. Our angelic brothers already have their spiritual bodies and power, and that's how they move around. Okay, also it's the eyes of the Lord. Okay, they also report, they sit back and they watch every elect. Okay, individual has a chariot assigned to them. Okay, and this is the job of the angels and the chariots. They're scoping out, they report back to the Most High. Okay, now we've been saying this for years. Okay, now the world or people who listen, these niggas is crazy. You hear they talking about chariots and the Lord got chariots and all these things in the sky, in the space, the heavens. Okay, but now this is on mainstream news now. Okay, mainstream news. The government, Pentagon is actually having hearings about it. They've came out and admitted it now. Okay, it's something out of this world that does exist. Okay, but it's not like the narrative that they lied and told us. It's not aliens. See, they want you to think Independence Day, some little green men in spaceships or Marvin the Martian. No, it's nothing like that. Okay, that's the narrative that they want to say. But we know what in the last days, truth is out. Okay, it can no longer be hid. Okay, and these are none other than the chariots of the Lord. Okay, they're going to be for salvation vehicles for the righteous. But at the coming of the Lord, they're going to be used to destroy the wicked and to take down the kingdoms of this world. Okay, so I'm going to pull a few scriptures before we get into it, just to show you the truth can no longer be hid. So let's start in 2nd Ezra 6:20. And when the world shall begin to vanish away, shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. Meaning what? The prophecies, the truth, things that's been hidden, the mysteries. The whole world is starting to see this together, such as what we're talking about today. These chariots, what the world calls unidentified flying objects or UAPs. Everybody is starting to witness the truth together now. Let's jump down. Let's read verse 28. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which had been so long without fruit shall be declared. And how is it being declared? Okay, the Bible is coming to life now. The men of the Lord, the prophets, breaking down these scriptures, what the Lord said, pray and watch. So we're taking what we see happening in the earth and we're filtering and showing you it in the scriptures. See that? So everybody is starting to see the truth together. Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal up the book, even until the time of the end. Man shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Okay, that's technology knowledge, spiritual knowledge. The Lord pouring out his spirit on all flesh, and also what we're talking about, the truth, things that's been hidden is coming to light now. Okay, St. Luke 12:2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Luke 8:17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither is there anything hid that shall not be made known or come abroad. Okay, so such as what we're speaking of, all of these things that they tried to lie to us, Esau through his media, try to control it through his narrative, making us think this is something that don't exist, or Martians or aliens. No, now the truth is coming out. The truth is being declared in the earth. It can no longer be hid. Okay, so I'm gonna play a couple videos.
Investigate several reported drone sightings throughout our area in the last month. Fox 5's Lisa Evers is live in Mahwah, New Jersey, with the very latest reports and concerns from residents and lawmakers there. Lisa.
Well, Bianca, the calls for action about the number of drones flying in the skies here in New Jersey and New York is growing, as are the frustrations of local and state officials who can't seem to get any definitive answers from Washington. Now, with the busy air travel season upon us, there are great concerns about airline and air safety in general. Hundreds of sightings of drones appearing at night in the skies over New Jersey and New York for more than a month. Sometimes they're solo, but other times there are dozens of them, even flying in organized formations. Witnesses say they range in size, all of them unexplained. Some have been sighted over military installations and near airports. Over the weekend, Stewart International Airport in Orange County, New York, had to be temporarily shut down due to a safety threat from drone activity. Officials say the drones do not show up on the regular FAA flight radar screens, and Senator Chuck Schumer is asking Homeland Security to deploy drone detection technology, similar to what's been used to prevent airstrikes by birds. But New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer has had enough. He's just moments ago, short time ago, he's calling on the feds to come clean. Here's what Gottheimer had to say.
Later today, I'll be introducing a resolution in Congress calling on the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FAA, the lead agencies, to publicly brief on what they know about the drones. Not a paper statement, but actually get out there and do a proper public session where they review what they know and take questions. I believe the people who I represent, and as I've been saying for some time, the people in New Jersey, around the country, deserve clear answers.
Soundbite, yeah. Now, just a short time ago, President Trump held a press conference in which he addressed the drone situation. Here's what President-elect Trump had to say.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And
now, the frustrations of the regular residents here who have to deal with this, not knowing what they're going to see in the skies or where they are, as well as the statements made by many people, professional law enforcement here on a state level, as well as military personnel, all of whom were on active duty while they had drone sightings, is also intensifying these concerns. We're going to be following this story very closely for you, so keep it locked here on Fox 5 and the Fox Local app.
Okay, let me play one more, then we're gonna get some scriptures. Which one is this? Let's play this.
Look, nothing in the sky at all. Then all of a sudden, bam! What is that? Anybody tell me what that is? We're in the middle of the ocean. On a ferry. Nothing around. Look. Nothing around. No land, no nothing. Look, nothing in the sky at all. Then all of a sudden, bam! What is that? Anybody tell me what that is?
All right, so what is this showing? Okay, we are at the end. Okay, this is everything that's starting to be exposed, revealed, and declared at the end. Okay, once again, those are the chariots, the vehicles of the Lord, and they're starting to show up and show out. Okay, they're showing it's a sign for us, those who are in the know, according to the scriptures, that hey, the Lord is near. Okay, your salvation, keep going, keep pushing, keep the faith, because I'm right here. He's starting to show himself, and it's also a sign to the nations. They're never going to admit the truth. Okay, they're not going to come out and say these are the vehicles or the chariots of the Lord. They're going to try to explain it like they do everything else through science, technology, or some other explanation. Okay, but the powers that be are in fear because they know it signifies their end. Okay, but us who are in the know, once again, okay, it's salvation for the righteous. Part of our salvation is going to come by the way of those chariots, but it's destruction for the nations. Okay, let's open up. Let's get Ezekiel 1:16. And the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they have one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. So this is how it is described or look like. Even the images we saw, okay, Ezekiel is describing it as a wheel within a wheel, okay, meaning somewhat roundish, okay, and in the midst of it, what, almost like another wheel, okay, with illuminated, okay. Most of the time we saw what, like lights or flames around it. All right, that's one example. Also want to get Zechariah 5:1. Let's get that. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. See that? A flying roll is how Zechariah is describing it. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length thereof 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. And he said unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth, he shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. Now verse 3, what does it mean? This is the curse that goeth forth throughout the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on this side of it, showing you these chariots represent the destruction for the nation. That's judgment. That's why it said this is the curse that go throughout the whole earth. Everyone that stealeth shall be cut off. Okay, steal it in different forms that we know the nation, specifically America, is guilty of, if we keeping it real. Okay, where they've been lying, stealing from the truth, stealing people, okay, resources, all of these things that go against the Lord is what it's saying. This is what we're reading about. That's why it refers to it as the curse that goes throughout the earth. Everyone that steal it shall be cut off. Cut off is talking about judgment or destruction. Verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. See that? And into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and with the stones thereof. Okay, so destruction and judgment is what these chariots are coming to do for the nations. All right. Psalms. Let's get Psalms. Psalms 104 and 3. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Okay, so the cloud, when we read clouds, oftentimes in the scripture, cloud, another meaning for that is just chariot. Okay, because there's many several precepts of scriptures that talk about the Lord coming in the clouds, or the Lord coming with his angels in the clouds. We know those clouds, according to this precept, is the chariot. So let me read that again. Who laid the beams of his chambers in the water, who maketh the cloud his chariot, who walketh up on the wings of the wind. Okay, another precept is Psalms 80, what is that? Psalm 68 and 17. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them in Sinai, in the holy place. Okay, so the chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. So even at the Lord's coming, this is how he's going to come into this earth. Okay, he's going to crack the atmosphere with thousands upon thousands of angels. In what? In his chariots. All right, Jude 1 and 14. And Enoch also of the seventh from Adam prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Okay, so verse 14, when it says Enoch also from Adam and the seventh prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Lord come with tens and thousands of his angels. That's pretty much the same thing we read in Psalm 68 and 17. Okay, about the Lord coming with his thousands of angels, where it's telling you to do what? Verse 15 is telling you what they coming to do on those chariots, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So those chariots mean judgment and destruction for the nations. Okay, they have what you would call lasers on them. Okay, what they shoot out. Okay, different lasers that immediately what evaporates anything it touches. Okay, so at the coming of the Lord, this is what's going to be going on. The Lord is showing up. He's going to come with his angels and those chariots to set destruction for the nation, but it's going to be salvation for the elect. See, when you hear people talk about like, for example, salvation or a rapture, okay, it's not a rapture in the sense of what Christianity has taught. Okay, the only form, if you want to say some form of a rapture, okay, and I'm going to play a video of that a little later, it's going to be from those chariots. Right before that seventh plague hit, which are thermonuclear ballistic missiles, how this current world is going to be consumed with fire, at least certain parts of it. I'll say it like that. The first world was what? Flooded. And the Lord is going to take down this current age. He's going to purge it with fire. Okay, well, right before those thermonuclear missiles hit, okay, the Lord is going to use the angels and the chariots and who's ever part of his elect, okay, the tractor beam is going to come from the chariots, and your spirit, our spirit resides in the crown of our head. The top of your head is where your spirit resides. Where those chariots through the tractor beam is going to suction your spirit straight out of your body up into those chariots. Okay, that's how it works. So when you hear people talk about salvation or saved from, you want to be saved to escape this judgment, this destruction that's coming upon the earth. The ultimate judgment being those missiles. That's when half of this earth will be turned into a lake of fire. See, you got people that have been taught wrong, or Christians talk about hell, fire, and the lake of fire. Lake of fire don't exist yet. The lake of fire is going to be set up when those thermonuclear ballistic missiles hit this earth. Okay, that's what we praying and hoping to be saved from. Okay, let me get St. Luke Let me see. Before I get that, 2 Thessalonians 1:7. Just to show you what the Lord coming to do in those chariots. 2 Thessalonians 1:7. And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels, and flaming fire taking vengeance on them that know not God, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power. See that's what they're coming back to do in those chariots. Also, St. Luke 12:49. I am come to send fire on earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? Now Yahweh Shah speaking, what does he mean I've come to set fire on earth? This is everything what we're telling you through this lesson. That's what the Lord at his coming, that's what he's coming for. Okay, destruction of the wicked, like we just read through these precepts, take down the nations. Part of the way he's going to do that is him coming with his thousands upon thousands of angels, setting fire to the earth with destruction. What does it mean I've come to set fire on earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? Because by the time the Lord gets here, what war is going to already been started and take place. Fires everywhere, missiles, bombs, okay? But the Lord is going to return just in time on those chariots to deliver his elect. All right, let me get another one just to prove that. Let's get Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. See that? So the Lord is going to set forth that ultimate judgment when he returns with what? Destruction with those chariots. Now, once again, they play these things. They have old movies like Independence Day with Will Smith. There are several others out there over the years that when the way they portray those chariots is always as if it's something evil or bad, okay, that's coming in. But what we're seeing according to the scriptures, only people that is going to be evil towards is the wicked. Okay, we just read all these precepts to show you the Lord coming to destroy with flames of fire in his chariots, what, for the wicked. Okay, but as we about to see, it means salvation or deliverance for the righteous. Let's see. Let's get Matthew 24:30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and glory. Now, we just read, according to Psalms 104:3, the cloud, what is his chariot. So when it say again, verse 30, I'm in the middle of verse 30. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn when they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So he's coming in the chariots and power and great glory. In verse 31, and they shall send, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds of heaven, even to the other. Okay, because once again, like we said, the destruction for the wicked and for the nations, but what is going to serve as a vehicle of salvation for the Lord's elect. Okay, another precept on that to show you. Let's get Jeremiah 16:14. And see, this is why you would hear our ancestors knew about these things. They're going back into slavery. And that's why I titled the lesson that. You would hear one of the old Negro spirituals that they would sing when they were being impressed with that. Swing low, swing chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Well, that's what they were talking about. They understood that what the world calls aliens or UFOs or UAPs, they understood back then, no, those are the vehicles of the Lord. the chariots of the Lord. See? So Jeremiah 16:14. One moment. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands where he had been driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So what is this going into? In the future, just like what today, we still talk about the Exodus, the great deliverance when the Lord delivered the children of Israel out of Egypt, out of Exodus, okay, from Pharaoh. Well, the time is coming. The Lord is talking about this next deliverance, this last deliverance. It's going to surpass that. It's going to be so much greater than what happened when he delivered our forefathers out of Egypt, into what it says. They're no longer going to talk about the Lord that delivered us from Egypt, but the Lord that delivered us from the lands of the west, everywhere we've been scattered, from the lands of the north and everywhere we've been scattered. Well, what's going to make it so much greater? The way he's going to do it. See, he split it the Red Sea the first time, brought us through the Red Sea, through the wilderness, delivered us from Pharaoh. This time, okay, it's going to be in style, even more so than that, okay, through the chariots. Just like we said, that chariot, every elect individual, and we just read the same thing in Matthew 24:30 and 31. The Lord returns in his cloud to gather up his elect. Well, that's what it's talking about. Okay, so that chariot appear, that tractor beam, suction our spirit straight up. Okay, that is the deliverance. That is the salvation that we praying and hoping for before that great judgment hits. Let me see. Let's get for example, 2 Kings 2:11, I believe. Let's look at that. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So Elijah was translated. When he said he went up in a whirlwind by the heaven, that was that chariot that suctioned his spirit straight out his body. Verse 12. And Elijah saw it and cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rend them in two pieces. So he saw him no more. What? Because that chariot of the Lord, that chariot of fire, what? It translated his spirit. It took his spirit straight up. And this is the same thing that's going to happen every elect individual, okay, at the coming of the Lord, right before those missiles hit for destruction. So picture that, just like you see in these movies on TV, okay, this is not a warning. This is not a test. Not a test, okay, Russia or whatever. It just released, launched 30, 40 ballistic missiles. They're headed this way in 30 minutes. Run to shelter, run to bunkers, prepare, okay? So in the midst of that, while everybody else is screaming, going crazy or whatever, right before those missiles touch down, okay, the elect, the Lord is going to use those chariots to what? Suction your spirit out. Okay, and I have somewhat of a video, an example. So I'm going to play that real quick. Let's see. Go here. This was somewhere in Africa, but this is a good idea of what we mean when you say the chariot suction your spirit out, or the closest that we will get to what the world or the church says a rapture. Okay, right here. You see that? I'm gonna play it again, but basically that's somewhat of an idea of what we're talking about. Like, for example, if you look kind of at the very top, where it kind of looked like the sun, okay, well, we know the chariot bright, like flame of fire. So that's basically a chariot at the top, and you could kind of see, like, look like a spirit or something that's floating up there. So when we talk about the chariot that sucks, same thing we just read that happened to Elijah. The chariot of the Lord appeared with fire, and it said nothing but his clothes left. He saw Elijah no more. This is exactly what happened to Enoch. Enoch was translated, Elijah, okay, at the coming of the Lord. Okay, those of us, or before, let me say that, prior to, even when the missiles, before those missiles hit, half of this earth is consumed, this is the way the Lord is going to deliver us out of here. So I'm going to play it one more time. And see, this is why you can't listen to the white man, Esau, his media, his news, his movies, his sci-fi stuff, because they're never going to come out and tell you the truth. Okay? Anything, because, number one, they can't control the narrative. They can't, anything within this stratosphere for the most part, or at least within the earth atmosphere, they control. This is something they have no control of. Okay? These things are showing up, basically the Lord mocking them, teasing them. Coming through the atmosphere, they appear within faster than the speed of light, faster than the sound barrier. They disappear, disappear. Okay, they can't shoot them out the air. They can't do anything. Okay, so this is something much more advanced than anything we have ever seen or experienced. Okay, and this is what the government, the military, this is what they're starting to realize. All right, so let me play a couple more. One moment. Play a little bit of this one.
Mr. Elizondo, what is your last position with the federal government?
Sir, I was the Director of National Program Special Management Staff, managing a White House Special Access Program on behalf of the National Security Council.
How would you characterize UAPs?
An enigma, sir, and a frustration. We are talking about technologies that can outperform anything we have in our inventory. And if this was an adversarial technology, this would be an intelligence failure eclipsing that of 9/11 by an order of magnitude.
You see, technology-wise, it's something that they've never seen before. They can't compete or compare with it, because it's the chariots of the Lord.
Are there classified Department of Defense materials related to UAPs that you believe could be safely disclosed to the public without compromising national security?
Yes, sir, I do. I would never, ever try to endorse providing some sort of information that could compromise what we call a blue force technology or capability. But I do believe there's a lot of information regarding this topic, and I've been very vocal about it, that should be shared not only with the public, but most importantly, with members of Congress.
Are you familiar with my friend David Grush?
Absolutely, sir. I had the privilege and honor of working with him myself several years ago at U.S. Space Force.
Last year, as you know, he testified that the U.S. has run a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Are there UAP programs operating without proper congressional oversight?
100%.
What are they?
I got
I would have to have that
I got a few other videos. I'm gonna speed through this one.
Conversation in a
and we punish them
with the recipients of the email, and therefore the email was pulled from everybody's account.
Again, tell us what happened to the email from the commander of fleet forces.
The day after I received it, and all the other recipients received it, which were all the subordinate commanders of U.S. Fleet Forces, so 1- and 2-star admirals, including strike group commanders, the email was wiped or deleted from our accounts.
Okay.
And then no one talked about it.
All right. Have you specifically had any experience with submersible objects?
So I've no personal experience, but I've had witnesses on submarines come to me and say they've seen on sonar data.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
How would you characterize those, and how do they move?
The one instance that was revealed to me was in the 80s on a nuclear-powered submarine, a ballistic missile submarine, that the object exhibited the characteristics of a Russian torpedo in terms of its speed of movement and closing rate with the submarine, and then it slowed and followed the submarine slowly in its wake for a period of minutes, and then rapidly exited the scene. And nothing that we know of, and technology-wise, could replicate that.
And the speed of these objects was faster than anything that we have or anybody else has that would be manned. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was on the order
Underwater.
of a torpedo. So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But as it exited,
Well, I don't exactly know how fast a torpedo is, but I expect it does better than my old outboard Scott Atwater, so I'll take that as a yes. Okay. Have you experienced any about UAPs?
Okay, so this is Congress having actual hearings about this. See, so it's not conspiracy. It's not crazy. Like I said earlier, before, we a lot of Israelite brothers been talking about this for years. Okay, we were crazy, conspiracy, all kind of names. Now what? Now it's they're putting this all over your media, all over your news. Okay, so we are here, and you heard what they said. It's nothing we know of can compete. Basically millions of years more advanced than anything that we have here. Okay, so as you can see, Esau is spooked. He's scared, he's worried. See that? All right, let me get a couple more videos.
You need to get the boys!
And you see, it's two things that they're putting out in the media. Now, notice one that they keep saying a lot of drones. And don't get me wrong, the Bible does speak of Esau's miracles. Okay, technology. Now, what I believe they're going to try to do through their technology. The Bible talk about the wicked miracles and things that the beast will use through, you can look this up on your own time, but it's called Project Bluebeam. Okay, we don't have the time to sit here and do everything right now, but that could be homework. Go look up Project Bluebeam, okay, through their holograms, and they got technology where they can make anything appear right in front of you that's not really there. Okay, so a lot of the drones, I believe, was man-made, but like what you see on this picture here, there's a lot of orbs. They call them orbs that's showing up. Some of these orbs has been destroying their drones, see, but they can't touch these orbs. No type of fighter jet, drone, nothing could come close to these orbs. Okay, so the orbs is what they're really concerned about. Okay, and these are what would really be more of the chariots of the Lord. Okay, that nothing can compete or come close to it. But these are the sightings that's starting to pop up everywhere now. Okay, so what was, like we said, what was a few brothers in the truth, the Israelites, that was saying this for years, that we were mocked and called crazy. Now the Lord is putting it in everybody's face. All right, let's see what other videos I got.
So these drones are
1 minute. Let me go back to this. And this is where several years ago, Trump came up with this whole separate new branch of the military called the Space Force, because they know, according to prophecy, this is what's going to invade and take down the nations. Okay, so I'm going to play a little bit of this.
My administration is reclaiming America's heritage as the world's greatest spacefaring nation. The essence of the American character is to explore new horizons and to tame new frontiers. But our destiny beyond the earth is not only a matter of national identity, but a matter of national security. So important for our military, so important, and people don't talk about it. When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space. So important. Very importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the 6th branch of the armed forces. That's a big statement. We are going to have the Air Force and we are going to have the Space Force, separate but equal. It is going to be something so important. General Dunford, if you would carry that assignment out, I would be very greatly honored also. Where's General Dunford?
Okay, so as you can see, this is real. They're not playing. Okay, so you still got some people you laugh and scoff for, yeah, right, UFOs, all this fly. Oh, you think they're spending billions upon billions of dollars? You know how much that Space Force cost funded? That's billions and billions of dollars. You think they doing that for nothing? You look like he's playing, standing up there. You got a president talking like that? No, just showed you Congress hearings, Senate hearings. Everybody talking about this. See, the powers that be, it might be a joke to you. It's no joke to them. It's a lot of things we say, the prophets, men of the Lord, break down to these scriptures that the majority of people laugh at. Yeah, right. Fade and wave their hand, whatever. They crazy. Okay. You starting to see every single thing we've been telling you, prophesying through these scriptures. Okay, is here now. All right. Let me get a few more scriptures. Let's get Hebrews 11:5. By faith was Enoch translated, that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yahweh had translated him. For before his translation he had the testimony that he pleased Yahweh. See that? And this is what we want to please the Most High. So what? We can escape this. Okay? Be translated saved. What we say? Salvation. People don't understand what salvation really is. You being saved or salvation. We asking the Lord, just like we saw in that video where that spirit was being sucked up into the sky. That's what we hope for through those chariots. We want to be the saved before that that final destruction, which is those missiles hit. All right, Ezekiel 1:4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. We learned what the cloud, talking about chariot. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber out of the midst of the fire. Okay, because surrounding these chariots oftentimes is like a ball of flame, ball of fire. Okay, that's why we read in all those precepts when the Lord returned, Isaiah 66:15. Okay, the Lord come in as a whirlwind and it send fire and destruction as angels for the wicked, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, so that's just instead of describing the look or the appearance of the chariots. Salakis, Wisdom of Solomon 18:7. This is Wisdom of Solomon, Apocrypha 18:7. So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous and the destruction of the enemies, because that's what the chariots are going to do. Like I said earlier, it's part of our salvation for the righteous. That's how you're going to be delivered. Okay, the Christians throw around that term, rapture. That's the closest we get to a form of rapture, is deliverance through those chariots. So let me read it again. So of thy people was accepted both of the salvation of the righteous and the destruction of the enemies. But for the nations and for our enemies, what? It serves as their destruction. All right. St. Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring. So this is Yahweh Shah speaking of what's going to be happening in the last days. Okay, so when it say there shall be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, okay, signs literally in the sun, moon, and stars, but also what? That's going into the heavens, the sky. So seeing different signs, different things in the clouds, in the heavens. Verse 26, men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay, and they are shaking. Okay, panicking. You see them having all those hearings and meetings. And what is this? Nothing like we've ever seen. What could this be? Where they come from? It is. So yeah, that the power, they're shaking right now. Verse 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory. Now coming in that cloud, once again, Psalms 104:3. Okay, the cloud, what is his chariot? So not a normal cloud. He's going to be coming with his angels in the chariots. But look at verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up thy heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Now, why do you think it say look up and look your heads up? Because your redemption draweth now. Your salvation is coming what? By the way of those chariots. Those are part of our salvation, or the vehicles of our deliverance. That's why it says when you see these things come to pass, look up, your redemption draweth near. Okay, why are those chariots being seen at in the skies, in the heavens? Okay, further letting you know or showing you what? That's going to be part of our salvation. Just like I showed you, we saw that video where that spirit, being sucked up into the sky. Well, that's how the chariots work. Every elect individual, once again, the tractor beam comes, suction your spirit straight out your head, take you into the heavens. All right. Let me give 1 Thessalonians another example of that. 1 Thessalonians 4:17. Let's start at 16. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Yahweh shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. We know what that cloud is now, the chariots, to meet the Lord in the air. So we shall be ever with the Lord. Okay, so those who get that change at the coming of the Lord, okay, with a great shout, Yahweh shall leading the way with his angels. The dead in Yahweh shall rise first. Us who still alive and remain, what? Your spirit be caught up, just like we saw in the video, up into those chambers, into the chariot of the Lord. You be spiritually transformed. Okay, meaning get our spiritual bodies. So what the Bible say, at the twinkling of an eye, they shall be changed. Well, that's how that's going to come about. Okay, for those who escape the destruction. All right. Let me play that one more time, matter of fact, just so we can have a clear idea what we're talking about. Hold on.
So these drones are in Pennsylvania now.
Okay, I'm going to play this one more time, but this is basically what we're talking about. You see that spirit going up there? Okay, so that's a good idea of what we read in the scriptures. Okay, they that are remaining alive shall be caught up in the sky, just like that. Get that transformation of spiritual bodies to what? Come right back down on the earth and reign with the Lord. Okay. Let's get Isaiah 60 and 8. A few more we're gonna close out. Who are these that fly as a cloud, and as the doves in their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, unto the Holy One of Israel, because he had glorified thee. So also, when it says the ships of Tarshish, also a lot of time that word, that's referring to those chariots, showing that the coming of the Lord, pretty much precepts what we read in Matthew 24, 30, and 31. The Lord returned in the clouds with great power, with his angels to deliver his elect. Okay. Isaiah 26 and 20. Come, my people, enter into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it was for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. So see that? When it says, come thy people, enter to thy chambers and shut thy doors, they were for a moment until the indignation overpassed. That's going into the chamber, the chariots of the Lord. That's how it's going to be delivered from the indignation. Okay, which is going to come once again by the way of what? Thermonuclear ballistic missiles, which is going to consume, okay, the earth. Okay, so when the Lord say, come enter into thy chambers, okay, that's the Lord basically describing those salvation through those chariots. Okay, also you could precept it with Psalms 91. Okay, by the Lord delivering, okay, hiding us under his feathers and his refuge and protection and all of that. Okay, but nonetheless, it's still saying what? The Lord, that's going to be our deliverance before this judgment hit. All right. What else? Revelations 15 and 1. Let's get that. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh. Now, what is this going into? This is talking about what? The salvation of the elect. Okay, this is the Lord. When you read verse 1, when it talks about let me just read it. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is fulfilled the wrath of Yahweh. So that last plague of the 7 plagues, that 7th plague is that thermonuclear ballistic missiles, that fire that's going to consume the earth, or what people refer to the lake of fire. That's when the lake of fire is going to be set up. Okay, but look at verse 2 again. And I saw as it was a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the glass of sea, having harps in their hand. Now, when it says stand on the glass of sea, this is describing the image from the chariot. Okay, the bottom of the chariot looking down. Okay, like clear, perplexed type of glass. Okay, standing on. So that's the aerial view from the chariot. That's what that's going on to, showing you those who are going to be delivered, who got the victory over the beast, over his image, his mark, his name. Okay, they're going to be what? Delivered on those chariots. Okay, showing you once again part of those chariots equals part of the way we're going to receive our salvation. Okay, Job 5 and 19, just to show you that 7th plague, what that's talking about. or to prove to you that seventh plague we just read, that's that thermal, the ballistic missiles. So Job 5 and I think it's 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 shall no evil touch thee. This is the same 7 troubles or plagues we just read about, Revelation 15, verse 20. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. Okay, because the Lord, during the day of the Lord or his judgment or leading up into that, understand even the beasts, the Lord is going to have a spirit on these animals to attack and devour people. Okay, lions, bears, tigers, whatever. Okay, the Lord is going to put his spirit even on the wild beasts to devour people. Okay, that's another lesson. But the point in this I want to focus on is the 7th plague, which would be, once again, let me see. Let's see here. Okay, let's look at 21. Thou shalt be hidden from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid from the destruction when it cometh. Verse 22, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. So that 7th plague of destruction is talking about what? Those missiles, how the Lord is going to purge this earth with fire. Okay, but once again, it's showing you what? Thou shalt be delivered from those 7 plagues. And part of that delivered is going to come via way of those chariots. All right, so let me get one more. I guess we'll close out. Let's get Habakkuk 3 and 8. Habakkuk 3 and 8. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thy anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou didst ride up on the horses and thy chariots of salvation. See that? So those chariots is what? That's the vehicles of our salvation. Okay, and it's once again all through the scriptures. Okay, I had one last video before I close out. Let me play this real quick.
Now, the UFOs.
That's right, and there is a Las Vegas guy making an extraordinary claim about extraterrestrials. So we sent Action News reporter Mike Delastrito to check it out. Mike?
All right, guys, just listen up here. This guy says the Old Testament, written in Hebrew, taught him how to summon UFOs. All right, he says he can also do this on command, and he adds he's been doing it for 25 years, keeping all of it secret until now.
These beings are here. They're here. They're just sitting right up there.
We met up with Prophet Yahweh, seer of Yahweh, at Doolittle Park off Lake Mead. We picked the day, we picked the time, and we picked the location. Everyone's going to think you're absolutely nuts.
Well, I thought I was absolutely nuts.
Until he says he saw UFOs. Over the years, 1,500 of them.
Can we make it 1,501 today? What do you think?
I'll try it.
He says the voice in his head told him to go public now, so we took him up on his offer, and we scanned the skies. Nothing but a few clouds. When the prophet started praying for a sighting, I wasn't exactly convinced.
I pray, oh Yahweh, that you send a sighting, so that they know that I am not mentally ill. I am not a false prophet, like those who seek to kill me say I am.
I see something straight up.
Oh, brother, look at it. There it is.
You can barely see it, a white speck. Then another sighting.
There it is. I got it.
Photojournalist Jonathan Hawkins locks in on it. Let's take a closer look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere. I call the boss with an unexpected change in my story. I can see it clear as day. In fact, it's bright.
I can't believe this.
It's moving pretty fast.
It's going to Nellis Air Force Base. It wants to be seen.
We called Nellis to see what these things might be. Guess what? They didn't call us back. But this thing started coming back toward us. Coming toward us now, I think.
What?
See, it's coming up toward us.
Whoa, man! Oh, Oh, hallelujah.
Then, a few seconds later, it disappeared.
It's going back up in space.
Now,
All right, so as you can see, okay, now it's at a point now it can no longer be hid. Okay, you got these sightings, these chariots are being seen all over. Okay, and the closer we get to the end, there's going to be more signs and wonders. Okay, more and more things that, once again, we've been preaching, prophesying, the men of the Lord telling you these things for years. That we scoffed, called crazy, conspiracy, tinfoil hat wearing, lunatic. Okay, but now what? The word of the Lord is the closer we get, it's becoming evident. Okay, your pastors has no answers for you. They're not talking about this stuff in the Christian churches. They can't answer no question. All these questions that the people starting to have in the last days, and it's also becoming evident who the true men of the Lord are. They have absolutely no answers for you. The book is sealed to them, like it tells in Isaiah. They can't read it. It's sealed. Okay, so the closer we get, okay, more and more crazy things that was once considered crazy or sci-fi or all these things that we've been saying for years. Okay, they've been called a cult and this and that. Okay, now the Lord is starting to put it in your face. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing. Okay, I pray to see more. Only experience I had with something like this, I could say about 2-3 years back. Okay, on a personal level, that I believe I was on a fast that night, or maybe me and my wife and one of my kids were taking out the trash. They ran back in the house, excited. Hey, do you see all those something over the house or whatever like that? So I ran out, my pajamas, look up. Okay, and it was more like the orb thing. It wasn't close, but almost where the stars should be. Okay, and it's never out here at night. It's never that many stars. There's no way you telling me those just stars. They were much brighter, kind of like we seeing, were glowing a lot louder, and it's like it was hundreds of them. Okay, but out of the whole street, neighborhood, whatever, I looked further down, I didn't see them nowhere else like that. Okay, but over our house or the vicinity, okay, it was packed, almost like they were just placed directly, over the house. Okay, and I never seen nothing like that since. Okay, but it definitely boosted or increased my faith. Okay, so this is real. This is the angels of the Lord. Okay, and that will be part of our deliverance out of here. So it serves as deliverance for the righteous, but what? Destruction for the wicked, and the Lord is going to use that to take down the nations. Okay, so once again, that's been Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. I pray that this lesson has been edifying. Until next time, we're going to say Shalom. We out.